Well, Tottenham will be looking to bounce back after a very hot and cold season last year that saw a Europa League title and a 17th place Premier League finish. And this summer, they've added the likes of Mohamed Kudus and Kota Takai, plus made the loans of Mathis Tel and Kevin Danzo permanent. There are also a few players on the way out, and a big one could be coming soon as Captain Heung-Min's son has been linked to a move to Major League Soccer. Here's what manager Thomas Frank had to say about Son's future. Take a listen.
Right now, Son is here, and very happy for that. He's training well. I said, in the last press conference that he's showing, great character. He played the last two friendlies. He's in the squad. He'll train today. So what I'm focusing on is he's a Tottenham player.
Okay, so there is Thomas Frank. It's really hard to imagine this Tottenham team without a player like Son, who has just been so synonymous with Tottenham Hotspur. Chuck, how do you think Son's legacy, will be remembered, or what will it be amongst Tottenham fans if he does make this move?
I think they'll remember him with extreme fondness, given what he gave to this team in terms of his goal production, his assists, the way he was so consistent and lovable, just his positive nature. There's not a single Tottenham fan that could say a negative thing about Heung-Min Son. He was that good. He was that consistent on and off the pitch. Just a class individual, and he deserves all the plaudits you could possibly offer.
Spoken very nicely for an Arsenal fan.
I have so much respect for him.
Yeah. Hard not to, honestly, with what he's done for the game.
Yeah, you think about just the last couple of years, right? The identity of Tottenham for so long was Harry Kane and Sonny, right? Like those were the two guys, and Hugo Lloris in a lot of ways, right? And you lose all of those guys, and this is a completely reworked club, right? But it's a team that finished towards the bottom of the table. They were in the relegation area, but they weren't really fighting relegation. They win a trophy under Ange. They get rid of the manager. They bring an exciting manager in. And I think Thomas Frank has to rework this team in the way that he wants the team to look. And I think that's what you're getting with some of them. They bring in a right winger, a center forward, a center back. So they've strengthened in areas that they really, really needed. Yeah, but Sonny not being there is going to be a completely different Tottenham.
Where does this leave Tottenham now? Because we are going to see some changes, which they have to happen with what Spurs did last season, particularly, or didn't do, I guess, in the Premier League D.
I'm looking at, yes, you're going to be missing Son if he does leave. That'll be a huge detriment because he's been the heart and soul of this squad for so long, led them to a trophy. But I think the biggest issue last year that we didn't see until the last 3 games was any consistency with Tottenham. What were they actually trying to do? The game management of Tottenham, where you're still trying to go, but you're one up and you're going to lose this lead now because you're all gas, no brakes going into the attack, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. So I think coach has a really big opportunity to come in and just focus on game management, clear identity from the jump. What do we want this team to look like? Because when you have at least the foundation of that, this gives these players the ever-changing movement with the transfer market right now, some stability to then actually come out and be a formidable team to go into the season.
What's the crazy thing is, at times, under Ange Postecoglou, they looked really dangerous. They were good, but they didn't know how to be flexible within the game. And it goes back to what you were saying. They throw numbers forward, they play a high line, they go up 2-0. They get the goals that you need to win a game, but then they would stay in that. And then guys would get tired, which then resulted in injuries. And then they're losing key players, key moments for long periods of time. And that was the downfall for Ange Postecoglou.
What are some of the biggest ways that Thomas Frank will be different from Ange Postecoglou?
I think he'll be a little bit more pragmatic. If you look at his Brentford side now, he has different toys to play with right now. He's got better players, presumably, at Tottenham than he had at Brentford. But he's a little bit more pragmatic. He does like to have the ball on the deck, but he's not. I don't think he's married to, hey, we're a direct team. I think he's married to what's the most sensible play in the game. Because when you watch his Brentford side, they had to be, I'll use the word again, pragmatic in that way, because they weren't always the most talented team on the field, right? So they figure out some days we got to kill you with 20 passes, some days we got to kill you with 1 pass, and I think that's what he'll bring. But I think he's been organized his time in the Premier League. His teams don't get blown out of the water. They always seem to be in games. So I think that's what he offers this side. He's been one of the bright spots when you talk about managers in the Premier League over the last couple of years.
The reason why his name has been linked to so many top clubs is because he always has an identity, and everybody's on the same page. What I love about Thomas Frank is you can see it in the way he talks. He's always looking for the tactical advantage. Looks for those overloads on the right side to see how teams react. He's always trying to pull a center back out. And once he can pull that center back out, he knows he's going to have an advantage in the box. And typically he's had Ivan Toney, he's had Mbomo, he's had Visa, and players who can score goals. I think now with Tottenham, it's going to get interesting because if Sonny leaves, which I think we all are anticipating he does leave, how does he make the most of what he has in terms of the goal scorers, the guys who are going to be creating for him in the attacking third? I think what's been great about his Brentford sides is they can counter. They were great on set pieces, and they're organized. And this kind of gives you a graphic of Tottenham, where they were last year when they played against Arsenal. You could see they're spread out. Guys are kind of all over the place, which is on the right side. And then with Thomas Frank's Brentford side taking on Arsenal last year, you could see how they're much more compact. They're taking away that space centrally. And so you're forcing Arsenal to go out wide, which I think they thought they were better suited to deal with, which showed in the result, 1-1.
Yeah, so Thomas Frank, the big change, and Tottenham, how would you grade their summer so far, Tony, with the moves that they've made? Chuck, you're kind of making a face there. Not too good? If that were an emoji, it would tell me it wasn't very, very positive.
It says yikes.
Yikes. Okay,
Yeah.
so which is going to be interesting.
Underwhelming?
Yeah.
Underwhelming.
It's underwhelming.
Yeah, Kudos coming in, Matthias Tell coming in. You spent $100 million. It's very unlike Tottenham, that we've seen over the last couple of years. But yeah, you have to. You look at Kulusevski. He's been around for a long time. Kudos is going to play on the left-hand side. James Maddison, you never know what you're going to get from him, but so talented. Bergwall's been pretty steady. Bentancur's been there for a while. Udogie's been there for a while. So I still think Cucho Romero in the back is one of the best defenders in all the Premier League, but was injured so much. Van de Ven was the fastest player in the Premier League, was injured so long last year. Vicario was out with that broken hand for how long last year? I mean, he's gonna get a healthy group, it looks like, from the beginning, which is gonna be a massive start for him. Ange, did Charlie touch on? Ange got snake bitten by injuries last year, but no one, I think, feels sorry for Tottenham at the end of the day, right? Because of the way he never changed his style when he didn't have all the tools to play with, and
he did.
At the end.
In the semifinals of the Europa League.
Okay.
Finally, they're playing away at Bodo Glimt, who's been absolutely killing every team on their home ground, on that turf. He finally said, you know what? We're going to just sit back and see if they can break us down. And they struggled. And he finally changed his tune, but it was too late. He won the trophy, which he promised, but in essence, he tanked the English Premier League season, and that lost him his job.
Yeah, interesting how Tottenham fans look back on last season with just how bad the Premier League was, but they won that trophy. That trophy drought ended. Okay, we're going to wrap up this segment with some over-unders, which we just love doing on the show.
We don't want to talk about the Arsenal side or what?
Well, I mean,
because we haven't done that all week.
A lot.
I'm just saying.
And we'll have plenty of time tomorrow for the game. So just hang tight, Chuck.
All right,
I promise we're getting to it. Okay, over-under, Arsenal finished with 80.5 points, which would be 6.5 points higher than last year. Are we going over or under?
I'm going over.
I'm going over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they finished, 89? I had it written down somewhere in one of my notes here, but they finished 89. Can you blow that up for me, Aly?
Not on the iPad.
74 last year, but the 2 years before, 89 and 84. Yeah, I'm going over this year with this group.
Yeah, with Gyökeres up top, for sure.
And
that was the missing piece for this Arsenal side, a striker. Because Gabby Jesus was supposed to be that guy. He got injured, and then it was makeshift. Well, Havertz. They brought Havertz as an attacking midfielder. And then Marino comes in, fills in. But look at how well Arsenal did without a real striker. Now you got a guy.
And Saka being injured.
Saka
for a
being
big
injured,
chunk of that.
And Havertz was injured for a good stretch at the end of the season.
No Marino hate because he was really good for you last year.
That's my point.
Yeah.
My point is he's not a striker.
He was really good.
But the key is for Arsenal, for everybody out there, it's coming home because
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
depth.
Look into the camera,
This is
Charlie.
really early.
The depth is undeniable. You got a striker and you have depth. I'm loving all the positivity around this team heading into this year.
Right after I say we're talking about Arsenal tomorrow.
Yeah, how did we get into this?
Well, we have to talk about Arsenal after the game.
Okay. Last over-under, Tottenham finished with 64.5 points, and that would equal Forest's number from 2024-25 season. So last year.
Under.
Under?
I'm also going to say under. What, they were 17th last year?
Yeah, they had 38
17th.
points last year. They had 66
go under.
and 60 the 2 years. Yeah, I'm going to go under.
It's a lot of room to improve.
It's one thing for Thomas Frank to come in and say, okay, I can make this team better,
Yeah.
but you need reinforcements. You need to get them extremely better. You need to move them way up the table, and I don't think they have enough.
Charlie, want a little Arsenal note that'll make you happy too about the striker?
Drop
Viktor
it.
Gyökeres
Yeah.
shut down the website with jersey sales. How many people were just so excited to go and get that Gyökeres number 14 kit, baby? All right.